from the state of Georgia. Sir, do you think that the news over the weekend about the Fukushima reactors in Japan, is that going to slow down building and licensing of those two plants in Georgia?
Stuart, I certainly hope not. I think that would be a huge mistake. You know, we go back to 1979 and 3 Mile Island, and you had all of this, I guess, that happened shortly after Jane Fonda starred in the China Syndrome, and you had her going all across the country saying that we needed to stop nuclear power. And, of course, Dr. Edward Teller, the father of nuclear energy, said that the only harm done was to him. He had a heart attack debating Jane Fonda. I think we need to be very realistic about this. If this power plant, this nuclear plant in Japan withstood a 9 Richter scale earthquake and a tsunami, and there's not been a core meltdown, there's not been the release of any massive amount of radiation into the atmosphere, it would seem to me that that would reassure, not petrify the American people. But obviously we're hearing this 24/7 on the news channels, and I think the media needs to be very responsible about this. I thought that Peter Ducey did a great job yesterday of explaining it and framing it. But no, this would be the worst possible thing to slow down. We need these nuclear power plants.
You've got to get out front, though, of public opinion, which I suspect is going to shift a little bit on this issue. We have Congressman Ed Markey from Massachusetts calling for a moratorium on the building and licensing of plants in seismic areas. And we have Senator Lieberman wanting to put the brakes on the expansion of nuclear power. They're not saying, hey, pull back completely and kill nuclear power in America, but they do represent surely a sizable section of public opinion which says, hey, we better slow down a little bit. We better find out what happened in Japan. You've got to represent those voters out there. You've got to listen to those voters.
Well, you do have to listen to the voters, no question about it. But, I mean, the people in Georgia, and you mentioned the 2 additional reactors that are going to hopefully soon come online at Plant Vogtle in Georgia. Today, what is it? We utilize nuclear generated power for about 20% of our electricity need, and it should be closer to 40%. Indeed, even in the Ukraine today, after Chernobyl in 1986, 50% of their power is generated by nuclear reactors, some 19 of them. But now these reactors have containment structures. They're not like the one in Chernobyl that did not have any containment. So we learn from these mistakes. But, you know, this idea of all of a sudden knee-jerk reacting and shutting down something for some expanded period of time, just like the moratorium on drilling in the Gulf of Mexico for 6 months. I mean, we're losing all the ability for deep water drilling and you know, exposing ourselves to the possibility of more and more tankers coming this way, breaking up. Indeed, some may have occurred. That could have occurred in the northern coast of California when some of that tsunami effect came to our California coast. So we need this domestic production of oil and natural gas, and we certainly don't need to stop these licensures and progress on nuclear power plants. We've been in that category, quite honestly, for 30 years, and it's been a huge mistake.
We're going to have to see how this thing plays out, because that is the debate of the day. Congressman Phil Gingrey, Republican, Georgia. Thanks for joining us, sir. We appreciate your input.
Thank you, Stuart.
We want to show you the share price of the Shaw Group. Shaw is building nuclear plants in China and the U.S. Nicole has the stock. Oh, it's down.
Oh, it's down. It's down about 16% here, and you can see anything related to nuclear uranium and